Okay. Okay, I don't think we have Rick. Is Rick McFarland on? Speak up, Rick, if you're there.
Want me to take roll?
Yes, please.
Don Krieger,
Present.
Chuck Manson,
Present.
Deborah Hutton, Marilyn Watts,
She is present. She's the one.
Peg Lazio,
Here.
Larry Jarvis,
Present.
Lori Swarney,
Here.
Rick McFarland. Okay. We have a quorum.
Okay, we've made our quorum. I'm going to start with a couple of announcements. I am Don Krieger, for those that don't know me. Hi, everybody. I will be calling roll call votes for all of our votes, particularly considering that we have so many people attending by telephone or remote access. I'd like to introduce our two newest members, that this is their first official meeting. One of them is present at least. Lori Swarney and Rick McFarland.
Hi.
Hi, Lori.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good to be here.
Moving on with the minutes, I will, and this is, I got 7:09 by my clock, so we did start a couple minutes late, but we're on and rolling. First item on our minutes is approval of the minutes from our April 6th meeting. Everybody had that mailed to them in their packets. I would allow everyone to review that, and I would accept a motion if anybody cares to.
Chuck.
I believe that was a motion by Chuck.
Yes.
Do I have a second from, and please give your name? That sounded like a Marilyn Watts second. Is that correct? Marilyn, I need a yes or no that you seconded the motion.
Don.
Yes, Larry.
This is Larry Jarvis. I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Larry Jarvis that we approve the minutes as presented. Now, if Peg would call the roll call vote, please.
Marilyn Watts, Peg Lazio,
Yes.
Larry Jarvis,
Yes.
Chuck Manson,
Yes.
Lori Swarney,
Present.
She's asking for a yes or no to the motion.
Yes.
Don Krieger.
Yes. And that motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Our next item on our agenda is the conditional use permit. Now, on that, we will be forwarding a recommendation to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And staff, please jump in and correct me anytime I speak wrong. I'll turn this over to staff to bring us up to speed on this.
This is Zach Simonson. I'm the city planner. This is a conditional use permit application. As Don said, this is just a vote to make a recommendation for the Zoning Board of Adjustment to make a final determination about the permit. This is a conditional use permit for 102 West Finley. That's the Atumwa Housing Authority tower building. at 102 West Finley for rooftop wireless radio and antenna equipment for cell service. The staff is supposed to look at two things. The first is section 38998 of the city code, which are the requirements for conditional use permits generally. In the packet, there's a summary of each of the points that we're supposed to look at. For land use, the staff is satisfied that the nature and intensity of the operations are in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the district. For the impact on the area, the staff is satisfied that the proposed building change will not hinder the appropriate development of the adjacent buildings. The ground equipment will be screened appropriately to not have a visual impact, and the rooftop equipment will have a minimal visual impact. There will be no changes to bulk standards or residential setbacks. The application shows some concept photos of what the building will look like with the equipment, and we are satisfied that for the standard for architectural character, that there would be no hindrance of the architectural character of the property in question. There's no changes to the building mass. There's no considerations for parking, and there will be no adverse effects on building sustainability or adverse effects from artificial light, colored light, flashing light, loudspeakers, or other devices. We're also supposed to look at section 38875 of city code, which is the concerns related specifically to telecommunication towers. We look at tower siting because the city has a policy to encourage co-location with existing cellular towers. The applicant provided an engineering statement, which is included in the application, that says that the existing inventory of towers are at capacity and that meeting, quote, the very high data usage rate, end quote, for this area requires additional equipment located at this type of elevation. We also have to look at tower setbacks and height. The setback will not be an issue for this project as it's a rooftop project on an existing building. The design will be aesthetically and architecturally compatible with the building, and ground equipment will be screened from view according to the requirements of the code. A letter was provided showing there will be no requirement for an FAA aviation light. Also, we look at site selection. A letter was provided from an engineer describing why this general location was necessary to meet cellular demand, and siting on a multifamily residential structure is a higher priority than any of the surrounding options for the impact that it would have on the area. And because of those reasons, the staff recommendation is to forward a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Does anybody wish to place any questions before the staff? And I'll turn it over to everybody on the mic.
Yes, I was going to wonder, are there any cell reception on any of the other towers in the city? Is this the first time we've done this?
No, I don't know the last time we've done it because it was before me. But there are a few cell towers that have gone up, I believe, since we've had these provisions. But the statement from the
towers have gone up, but I don't know if we've got, has it gone onto the apartment?
Oh, onto the apartments?
Facilities like this.
Sorry, I don't know if we have any that are on top of apartment buildings right now. The code does set some priorities for siting that would ask them to first be located in industrial zones and then to be located if they're on top of a multifamily building, if they're in a residential zone before we build a new tower or anything like that. And the engineer's statement is that this location is in this sort of neighborhood is necessary to meet the demand, and so they couldn't do the higher priority sites. We also have the applicant on
go to the urban areas, that's very common.
Mm-hmm.
To put on buildings like that.
Right.
Yeah, general maintenance, in the 4 years I've been here, this is the first time we've kind of looked at it, but other than general maintenance on existing towers.
Yeah.
I believe we've had other buildings get used for telecommunications. The old St. Joe Hospital building, I believe, had something on it. And I think the city water tower at Memorial Park has at one time or another. But I believe this is probably the first time we've had actually cell phone application.
Yeah, this is the first one I remember, and I've been here as long as Don, so.
Yeah, Well, I think it's a great idea. Again, what kind of revenue, rental are they getting paid for being up there? Yeah, anybody know that?
I don't know that. The applicant is on the phone. I don't know if she'd be able to answer that.
Hi, my name is Julie Shebeck, and I'm here on behalf of Farmers Cellular Telephone. And
Right.
we have entered into a lease agreement with the Autumnal Housing Authority. I'm not at liberty to share the rent amount. You would, if you're interested, you would have to go back and ask them, but I can tell you that it's
No, that's okay. I completely understand. I have no problem with that.
it's a fair amount, so.
Yeah, there you go. That's what's important. And is it available now? Does the building be available to other cell phone companies also now?
But we're just leasing a part of, we're putting our antennas on the penthouse that's on the rooftop. So if those folks wanted to rent out any other rooftop space, any other companies, they certainly could. That's their choice. So.
Okay. That's good. Okay, that's good.
The Autumnal Housing
Thank you.
Authority has a lease agreement, and it pertains to this usage alone.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. You can always speak for funds. Yeah. But with what we approved going forward, would it be approved for those other folks? So we wouldn't have to go through this again?
I believe they would have to go through it again.
I believe they would also. But I would have to check
Okay.
that.
Yeah, this conditional use permit would be strictly for the Farmers Cellular Telephone Company for that permit.
Okay.
So, for example, if Verizon wanted to come over, they would have to go through the same process.
Right.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Would the chair entertain a motion to approve staff recommendation?
Yes, I would.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Chuck Manson and second by, I'm sorry,
Peg, I second
and your name is?
Peg Lazio.
it. Peg,
Hi, Peg. Thank you for that second. It's been moved and seconded that we had staff recommendation, that we accept staff's recommendation and forward a favorable recommendation on to the
Zoning
the
Board of
zoning board of adjustment. I'll state it here correctly eventually. We will now call roll call vote.
Chuck Manson,
Yes.
Marilyn Watts, Marilyn Watts, Peg Lazio,
yes.
Larry Jarvis,
Yes.
Lori Swarney,
Yes.
Don Krieger.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, that vote carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Kevin Flanagan is on the line, and I will ask him or Zach if there is anything that we need to know about as a commission.
I think Kevin's going to share an update about the comp plan.
Yes, thanks, Zach. I would say, related to the decision we just made, that yes, any individual applicant would be coming for their be able to use that. Put ourselves in a position when we permit such a tap. Of course, I guess that goes notwithstanding that'd be obvious from the allowed it, but just the other thing is, we on our current schedule for the adoption of our comp plan, we were looking at our July meeting, the planning commission referral onto the city council, and we were going to do both of those in July. We're going to kick that up on a council list that we would, in our first meeting, on the first Tuesday in August, we will set the time and date for a public hearing to adopt. and then we would adopt the map and the plan, future land map and the plan, the third Tuesday in August. So right now, we still were in the set to do that comp plan review in July. I would recommend that we do that with or without it. In July, of course, we can at the July meeting go ahead and give the referral, or we could consider back in a meeting in August and do so. I would recommend that be a good idea because the plan, the final draft plan, leading to that, Zach, if you need a copy of that, we can print one off in the office. But that public review period is going to be during that month. So please do not hesitate to give me or call or send email if you'd like to discuss a part of it. And I think that, of course, we have new members. We're hoping perhaps our next meeting there in July can be a little bit more open on at the City Hall level and going forward. But if it is, that would be good. But we'll talk more. Of course, we have some new members, so we'll talk more about the comp plan at that July meeting, and that we can consider and make a decision, or you can just consider and we can come back in our meeting and discuss it more and make our decision. But if members want to come by, drop by the office, and talk about all this stuff, please do that. So doors back my boat. My cell phone is 641-451-4990, so you can give me a call or you can email as well. But that's kind of what we were looking at as a schedule. So, these questions?
Okay, this is Don Krieger. Kevin, I'm going to cut you off because your vocal here was breaking up a little bit. We didn't hear everything you said, so I'm going to, and I will give you a call and confirm this over the phone with you, that you should probably send that information out to everyone on the commission via mail, and just to let us know for sure what the time frames are.
I'll send an email. Is that better?
That'll work.
I'll send an email in the morning with all of this information.
Okay.
But essentially, this will be our comprehensive plan, hopefully our final schedule for adoption.
I'm going to thank everybody for attending this meeting, and I will adjourn it as of now.
See you next month.
Thank you,
for your
everyone.
time.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.